joining us on this independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has just got underway. It's Spurs taking on Wolves, and it's a very difficult one to call this. A few weeks ago, a month or so ago, this would have been quite straightforward, but Spurs have been a little bit hot and cold in the last month. Wolves have really kicked on since the arrival of their new manager. They're on the attack straight away inside the first few seconds. Cunha has an overlap here for Mike Nouri. The ball is just overhit. It's going to be a goal kick, I think, to Spurs after all. That's a shame, really, because Wolves started straight away on the attack, getting a ball forward, getting towards the Tottenham penalty area, and if this ball from Cunha is just a little bit lighter, then I think Ait Nouri still has a chance to get on the end of it, but it's overplayed there from the Brazilian, and it's out for a goal kick. So Spurs straight away trying to get forward themselves, with myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and John Hogan taking the action. John, where we've got two sides here who are certainly much better going forward than they are defending, so let's hope for a few goals.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's going to be 0-0, can you? So we were just talking ahead of kick-off briefly, but I love watching Cunha. I just think he's such a talent. He's so good to watch. When they played Man United and beat them the other week, it wasn't lost on me that he was the best player. The best player out of the two teams. And in Andre, they've got another brilliant Brazilian. But here come Tottenham.
They do. It was a ball at the edge of the area. Bentancur with the strike, which is charged down. It's recycled here on the left for Spurs. Udogie finding Son on the left, just at the edge of the Wolves penalty area. Bentancur almost caught in possession, and he may have actually gone through the man there as he was trying to keep the ball there for Spurs. We'll see whether he's whether the Wolves man is all right. Bissouma for the time being holding on to the ball. But yeah, I mean, Cunha's come on leaps and bounds in the last few months. It was Hwang Hee-chan who was the man down there, but he's back on his feet now. As I say, it's going to be a difficult one for Wolves long term to hold on to him, really.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to, are they? I wouldn't have thought so anyway. Cunha said all the right things about being in the right place and he's happy where he is and all that. It's not lost on me either that after the altercation, after the end of one of the recent games, that he got involved in something which I thought would get him 7 to 10 games banned. That hasn't happened, and it's like it's almost like that's been forgotten.
It may well be that it's just not happened yet. I mean, I'm not entirely sure whether he has been charged. He should be. I mean, I'm obviously aware of the incident you're referring to. He seemed to sort of take the glasses off one of the opposition staff members as they were getting into a bit of pushing and shoving at full time. So that certainly didn't look good. But let's say emotions running very high in that last few games of Gary O'Neill's tenure as well. It did seem as though Wolves really were crashing down into relegation and not going to be able to pick themselves up. But the last few games have given them some hope. They do start the day just outside the relegation, and they'll be aware that Leicester City have gone down 1-0 to a goal against Manchester City. That's after Leicester made a good start in that game as well. That was the unusual 2:30 kickoff we had in the Premier League today, which is available on our service. The other 3 p.m. kickoffs are Palace against Southampton, Everton against Forest, and Fulham against Bournemouth. It's all goalless in those games so far, and a slightly earlier 5:15 kickoff to come this evening as well between West Ham and Liverpool. But 3 minutes on the clock here. It's been a better start really from Spurs in terms of the possession they've had. Wolves have got forward once. Just to remind you very quickly, there's Forster in goal for Spurs, back forward Pedro Porro, Dragusin, Gray and Udogie. Bentancur and Bissouma are the holder midfielders, with Johnson, Kulusevski and Son as the attacking midfield 3 playing behind Solanke. As for Wolves, it is Jose Sarr in goal, back 3 of Doherty, Dawson and Santi Bueno. Nelson Semedo, Andre João Gomez and Ait Nouri are the 4 across the middle, with Bellegarde, Mateus Cunha and Hwang Hee-chan as the attacking 3. The ball now back with Jose Sarr. Long clearance up towards the halfway line, headed forward here by Pedro Porro. The ball won't quite reach Kulusevski. Wolves are back in possession in their chain strip. I want to say sort of like a dairy milk wrapper coloured, something like that. I mean, it's probably about right, isn't it? But
festive anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. Very, very different to their home kit, of course, which is the idea. They don't want to be clashing with Spurs, although arguably their home kit probably wouldn't have clashed with this Tottenham kit. But of course, the kit maker does like the away shirt to be worn, just to make sure that enough fans are buying that one as well. Semedo now with the throw for Wolves down the right-hand side, going back towards the edge of his own penalty area. Doherty, of course, a former Spurs man. He left Wolves to come to Tottenham. Never really worked out for him at Spurs. He's back in Wolverhampton now. Dawson trying to step over to the edge of his own box, but he does get away from Brennan Johnson. And Ait Nouri now using Bellegarde as Wolves do try and play out from the back. It's a long clearance this time from Dawson. It's over the head of Chan, and it's through back to Dragusin.
I know they've got to change things around. Last time I saw Goncalo Guedes, he was superb. So I think you feel aggrieved that he's on the bench today. My other thought is that Ryan Ait Nouri, he's a great player, and so too is the guy who's keeping on the bench, Rodrigo Gomez. They've definitely stiffened up with Dawson back in. Don't forget they were playing a lot of games with Totti Gomez, who for me, pound for pound, worst centre-back in the division, I think. So I think they've got better. Bueno's playing that side. Matt Doherty can play the other. He can also play wing-back if need be. But you'd always want Nelson Semedo because he's just got that much energy. Anyway, Cunha's feeling his knee now.
Yeah, this is a bad one. This, I mean, it's Semedo has got into Archie Gray. It's going to be a corner to Wolves. It was a challenge from Gray. He gets the last touch. It's going to be a corner or a throw on right by the corner flag. But there's a delay in play, as John mentioned, because Cunha didn't actually see exactly what happened to him. We're getting a replay of the corner kick decision, but the Brazilian is checking himself over here. And actually, where the ball has ended up, I just wonder if Chris Kavanagh has played an advantage and now given a free kick to Wolves.
Yeah, maybe. We didn't see that, did we? They were coming together with Gray and Semedo. I look at the Spurs. I mean, Spurs are exciting, aren't they? They score goals, but they concede. No way is Archie Gray centre-back. I know he's quite tall. I know he's a good footballer. When he was playing right-back for Leeds, he's like a pace who's exposed, but he ain't a centre-back, so he's going to have his work cut out today. Anyway, free kick now, an opportunity.
Yeah, it is a free kick. Cunha's picked himself up. It's slightly over. It is well over on the right-hand side, so it would favour the left-footed Ait Nouri, who stood over it as well. It's teed up for him. He then takes a touch and sets it up for Chan, who goes for goal, and it's into the back of the net. It's a lovely training ground move, that from Wolves. Spurs were not ready for that, and Hwan Hee-chan, off the bench to score for Wolves last week, gets the start this afternoon and is on the score sheet inside 7 minutes.
I tell you what, we talk about whether Archie Gray can defend or not, but as a collective, that's just a joke. Hwang Hee-chan there, they've got a free kick and he just peels away. When the ball's rolled to him, he's just all by himself. Well, take your time, kid. Look at him, stood outside the D, walks back in. There's nobody within 5 metres of him. Honestly,
there's plenty of Spurs players pointing at him once he's had the shot and scored, but before he actually it's a really good finish. It's a first-time finish from inside the D, so take nothing away from Hwan Hee-chan, but he should be closing him down a little bit quicker and forced a diving across the ball, hits the post and hits the back of the net. It's not the start that Spurs were looking for, but this resurgent Wolves can carry on, it seems.
What I don't really get about what they're doing there, Basuma, whose man is he, right? Who's defending where? The ball might go in the box, and they've got 3 men in a wall. You think, well, what are they blocking? They're not really blocking off anything from that angle. You think it's either going to be chipped in or rolled back for somebody to have a go. It's a great hit from Hwang Hee-chan, but it's ridiculous defending, isn't it? It's just basics, really. But they got it wrong.
They did. The Spurs have lost 2 games going into this one. They had that 6-3 reverse at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium just before Christmas, then the 1-0 defeat away to Nottingham Forest on Boxing Day. And a goal down here at home to Wolves. Their next game is also at home. It's on the 4th of January when they play against Newcastle. And then a few days after that, they're up against Liverpool in the League Cup. So it's going to be a tough few weeks here for Spurs if they don't pick up some form. They're on the attack here now down the right-hand side, but Ait Nouri does well to dispossess Kulusevski. João Gomes now going back towards Craig Dawson. And it's Wolves quickly playing out from the back here now. They're going to win a free kick there, are they? No, they're not. It was Kulusevski winning the ball cleanly, says the referee. It's played forward to Solanke, trying to get away from 3 Wolves players in the end. Just the sheer number there of Wolves players are able to get in his way. Bissouma just holding the ball up and going back towards Dragusin. But it's been a feature of Spurs' poor form this season that they're conceding far too many early goals, and it immediately puts them under pressure. But they're trying to respond it now, and Bentancur does well. He's able to then get the ball into the box, and Solanke was teeing up Udogie. He wasn't expecting it. The ball is now back over on the right-hand side. Pedro Porro's strike charged down by Dawson before it's played over towards the right-hand side. Pedro Porro fighting here with Cunha. Is going to be a throw to Spurs, so they're responding at least here, Tottenham.
Yeah, they're showing a bit of quality, aren't they? Getting on the ball. It's not like we expect them to be quiet. They'll have their moments. I feel that they have less punch when Maddison is not playing. He's on the bench today, but there's plenty of goal scorers in this team. And they want to get forward and score. It's in the style of Postecoglou, isn't it, that they're barnstorming. But again, you can't defend like they did from a set piece and expect to do well.
No, I mean, you mentioned James Maddison. It just seems like he can't quite sort of get on terms with Ange Postecoglou. It seems like he was always the sort of first player to get the hook when Spurs are struggling. Either him or Son always seem to go off after an hour if they've started. And to say Maddison, I'm sure he was expecting to be that sort of main number 10 for Spurs throughout the season. but he just can't quite sort of bed down in that team for the time being.
No, that's right, which is weird. I think when you've got a talent like that, you work with it, and it's not as if he doesn't work hard anymore. At Leicester, you could point the finger and said he's a bit lazy, but he ironed that out of his game. He put that right. You've got to find a place for talent like that. But it's the Premier League, and if he doesn't do it, then somebody else comes in, or you change shape, this, that, and the other. Anyway, Kulusevski seemingly is in that slot today. Whether he is. We'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely, whether it's a 3 in the middle or 2 and then a 1 playing alongside the wingers. But Spurs have taken this free kick short. It's gone all the way to Brennan Johnson, who breaks into the box. His cross is charged down, and it's out for a corner kick to Spurs on the right-hand side. And the left-footed Dejan Kulusevski is across to take this one. There's also a right-footed option there from Pedro Porro. In fact, it's Pedro Porro who's going to be taking it now. Kulusevski was just checking his laces. He then goes back into the middle, and it's going to be an outswinger here from the Spanish international. He's got plenty to aim for inside the box as well. Puts a bit of height on this one. It's towards the 6-yard box, and Spurs are level. And it's Bentancur with the header. We've had 11 minutes on the clock, and it's 1-1 already.
Loving it. Do you know, I was talking to Tom before what game you got? Tottenham Wolves. Well, he said at least there'll be goals. Yeah, and we thought so, and we've got them. I mean, it could end up being 5-5. Pick a score, any score you want. But trying to get correct score out in this game is going to be a real job, I think.
I think so, yeah, absolutely. Everyone always remembers that crazy scoreboard for, I think, Boxing Day in 61 or 62 when there was like a 7-4 and a 10-1 and all of that. But we don't get crazy scores like that anymore. But we are going to see a lot of goals in this game. I would be amazed if this is the end of the scoring today. The way the two teams have set up, they are better going forward than they are defending. And not too much of a reaction there from Postecoglou. Just a quick little round of applause once he makes sure that ball is in the back of the net. But from Wolves' point of view, they've got to do a little bit better there, I think.
Yeah, they do, but you've got to give credit. I mean, it's a decent corner in, but didn't he rise well? He almost hung in the air there. He's a big enough guy, and he's Cunha now breaks forward. Well, it's going to be a corner for Wolves.
They've won themselves a corner 30 seconds after the restart. It was a long ball play towards the edge of the Tottenham penalty area. So there was a throw-on taken by Cunha. He then tried to work the ball into the penalty area. Gets charged down, so it will be a corner kick. Wolves straight away trying to respond. Credit to Spurs. In fact, take it back. It's been given as a goal kick after all that. I'm assuming there must have been an offside in the build-up because it certainly looked like it should have been a corner to Wolves. But I suppose from Wolves' point of view, they need to do what Spurs did after they conceded, which is to try and press and get that ball back again.
This game is going to swing end to end. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Two teams who want to get forward. Wolves suck teams in, don't they, and counter really quickly. Bellegarde's got to be on his game today because he'll be looking over his shoulder. There's one or two who might have started ahead of him. But anyway, again, Wolves have the ball. Again, Cunha's on it, and here they go.
Yeah, Cunha just at the edge of the area, tries to thread it through to Szczerbakowicz. He gets stopped, but then it goes back to Cunha, who pulls the trigger himself and drags that shot wide. It's away for a goal kick to Spurs, but it's been as bright a start as we could have hoped in this game. 2 early goals, and now the away side are trying to get on the ascendancy again. So Szczerbakowicz that tries to get involved there in setting up Cunha. Long clearance there from Fraser Forster. That's the other thing as well, that if both these teams are going to insist on playing out from the back, there's going to be mistakes because both of the oppositions are going to certainly leave players up to press.
Yeah, they hold bodies high up the field. They're both aggressive like that. I just wondered about Cunha, what he would be worth in today's market, I think he's probably over 100 million already.
Well, I mean, he's got the qualities of and the vision of a midfielder, but he's got the finishing of a striker. So I suppose he can play number 10 or number 9. So on that basis, you would say that he certainly would have a very high value, and he's proven that he can get goals and great goals at a team that's been struggling. So that would probably make the value even higher, you would think.
Yeah, I mean, it's frightening to think that. I'm not wishing him away, though. Looks like Saints might have scored at Selhurst Park. Looks like that goal's gone in. We'll keep you appraised of what's going on, but plenty of goals. Sometimes this round of fixtures can be dead stodgy, can't it? But I think the players are so professional nowadays, you don't really get that.
Well, no, and also the Christmas New Year period has now lost one round of games. It used to be everyone plays on Boxing Day, then on the 28th, then on New Year's Day. Now they've condensed that into 2 rounds of fixtures between Christmas and New Year's, or just after. So it makes that a little bit more sense, I think, in terms of preserving the players.
Well, talk about players thriving in a poor team. Tyler Diblin scored. And do you know what? I think he's acquitted himself really well. Yeah, the stature of him, he doesn't look like a kid, does he? He looks like a big fella, and he's got a lot of talent about him.
He's not built like a winger, really, is he?
No.
I absolutely agree with what you're saying, but he certainly plays like one, and he's got that modern trait of being a left footer that likes to play on the right-hand side, which seems to be the in vogue thing these days. Spurs being put under pressure and lose the ball inside their own half. Still a long way from the penalty here. Cunha now playing it back towards Santi Bueno. Wolves in possession around about the halfway line. Doherty under pressure. Bit of a hospital pass towards Andre, but he does well to win that ball back, and he finds Cunha, who's now trying to go through the gears down the left-hand side, heading towards the penalty area. It's still going, Cunha. There's going to be a free kick there. That was a rash challenge there from Kulusevski, and it will be a free kick to Wolves and very much a shooting opportunity.
I just love watching him. When Cunha takes the first ball there, he just does a little drag back. There's 3 players around. He can't get the ball off him. His next ball, he just sells Yves Bissouma. No chance. He thinks he's going one way, he goes the other, then he's driving away from him. As soon as he's running with the ball, it's like, oh, you don't want to launch in. Kulusevski's having a good game, and he's having to work double hard to make sure that the number 10 doesn't get away. But it was a foul.
It was a foul. Well, Wolves from their last free kick played a couple of short balls before it was teed up for Kwani Chan, who then curled it into the bottom corner. I can't believe they're going to try the same number again, but it's very much within shooting distance. It's over on the left-hand side this time, so it may just favour a direct hit here from Matheus Cunha. Getting word of a goal between Everton and Forest. We'll confirm that for you in a second from Goodison Park. But we'll see out this free kick. Fraser Forster organising his 4-man wall. There's a man down lying just behind the wall as well. There is a left-footed option for Wolves tonight, Nuri, but I just get the feeling Cunha's going to fancy a shot here as the referee blows his whistle. Cunha steps up, he goes into the wall. It wasn't a good free kick from Wolves' number 10. He gets the ball straight back and then sends it across. He's overhit it this time, and actually there were Wolves players in an offside position as they went for the ball. So it's a bit of a wasted set piece this time.
Yeah, it's sloppy. Well, you'll never guess who scored for Nottingham Forest. Oh, yes, you will. Chris Wood, what a season he's having. Elanga found him, and it's the former Wolves boss, Nuno Espirito Santo. He went in there and said, Wood, you're my man. And that's absolute work dividends. Sometimes, you sort it all out. This is pretty much my level. You're my striker.
Yeah, absolutely, and you've got to say, he's becoming part of the furniture in English football now. We don't even call him a spirit; he's just called Nuno now, isn't he? A lot of the pundits just refer to him by his first name. He was very popular in Wolverhampton, of course. He actually got an honorary degree, I think, for a honorary doctorate, I think, from the University of Wolverhampton whilst he was still there. And, of course, he had a very unsuccessful time of it at Spurs as well. But you consider that Forest are now actually doing much better than Spurs so far this season. It's funny how these things can sometimes go in football, of course. But Wolves now under pressure just inside their own half. There is Nelson Semedo, who's got 2 Spurs players to deal with. Goes back towards Doherty, who's under pressure as well. But he does well, just drops his shoulder, gets away from Son. Although his pass isn't particularly good, it's picked off here by Bentancur. Kulusevski then trying to muscle his way towards the ball. It's cleared away and back up towards the halfway line. Bit of head tennis here in midfield, but eventually the visitors do get it back.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about Nuno and all that. Sometimes at a club you run your course, don't you? Look like there's a foul in midfield there, and again, Wolves on the counter-attack doing well with Semedo playing on the inside there, just got caught. Sometimes not many people get to do what Sir Alex Ferguson did and build 3 different sorts of teams, because in the meantime you've got to put noses out of joint, let people go do all the hard stuff that nobody likes. But anyway, we'll break off. Here comes Nuri, here come Wolves again.
Yeah, there's a lovely ball over the top from Cunha to find him, and Nuri now puts a huge cross. I mean, I was going to say he puts it into the box, but it was such a powerful cross. It actually eluded the penalty. It goes all the way out the other side, and then the other fullback for Wolves, their right-sided player, their Nelson Semedo, doing his best to keep the ball in play, but he couldn't manage it on this occasion. The Wolves captain, and it's away for a throw to Spurs, and Vitor Pereira making plenty of notes there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of his things, isn't it? He just never stops writing, and they say, you know, what you're writing down, well, keep your neb out my things. Anyway,
it probably condenses down to maybe a couple of sentences for each player, but the idea is that it's something specific rather than just a general team talk. He wants to give specific instructions to specific players, which is the way to do it now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, not everyone's got a super memory, have they? And you can't remember every single thing. You know, sometimes you've got to wait till after the weekend and Monday for the video to go through this, that and the other. As Fraser Foster's gone down, that's going to cost us a little bit of time.
It costs us time, but it's also going to be a problem for Spurs. I mean, Fraser Foster is already their second choice, and we're going to have to wait and see whether he's okay to play on here. Spurs are actually, it looks like they're getting ready with a... there's a Spurs player changing his boots here. Doggy had an issue with his...
Is Austin got the...
I think it is, yeah. I'm not too clued up on the Spurs' third choice, but it looks like it is going to be Brandon Austin from just up the road in Hemel Hempstead, if needs be. Say Postecoglou and after matching the medical staff behind, I think we haven't got any more space on that whiteboard. So where you write down who's injured and who's fit, we haven't got any more space in the injured column. We can't have anybody else on there. But
well, I mean, he's got plenty of experience. Nothing he could have done with that goal from Hwang Hee-chan, and certainly not his fault that. But a lovely strike from Hwang Hee-chan. And then the next goal was as good, wasn't it? Bentancur's bullet header at the near post. I mean, he properly got on top of that ball. And again, Jose Sal's a great goalkeeper. Nothing he could do with that. But you begin to feel for Spurs. What goes on then is if they lose this game, then their chairman gets it in the neck. When he gets it in the neck, he tends to make a managerial change. That's what has always happened at Spurs since he's been in charge. But anyway. So they could do with winning this game for Postecoglou, who I think is a very good manager.
I do as well. I think sometimes his way with the media and the way he comes across to his players sometimes can be a little bit sort of Sergeant Majorish, a little bit sort of standoffish. But I think that's also because he openly says that he doesn't like being asked the same question 3 or 4 times every week. So he does get a little bit impatient.
I don't think he likes being asked any questions at all.
No, I think that's true as well. I think that... it's a part of football whether players and coaches like it or not. You are going to get asked questions in the same way that Tottenham fans pay huge amounts for their season tickets, for everything from their refreshments. It's one of the most expensive stadiums. I've been lucky enough to be there as an away fan. It's a fabulous venue, but it's an expensive venue, and Spurs are, like any football club, are there to make money. But at the same time, I think the fans... It's a combination of things. I think the fact that they've had a few injuries this season has meant that it's exposed the fact that they are just a little bit short. And as you mentioned, the fact that they've got a central midfielder, Archie Gray, playing as a regular centre-back now just shows you how short they are.
Yeah, there's a Jekyll and Hyde nature. I think it's like maybe the fans feel they've been mugged off a bit where they've been winning so well at times. It makes them feel like, oh, yeah, we're brilliant. And then at times they can have their pants pulled down because of the style that they play, and it's like, oh, well, we got right behind you, and now look what you've done to us. It's a bit like that, God forbid that they should have a more grinding team, because that would be poorer for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah, it's an expectation of a style of play. But we just allowed ourselves that quick conversation as the game had just stopped in midfield for a little while, but now Spurs are pushing forward down the right-hand side. It's Pedro Porro's ball into the box, which is cut out by Santi Bueno. He puts it out for a corner. It was Dragusin starting the move. It was a really good ball as well out towards Johnson, in fact, who picked up the ball on the right-hand side. His cross is well dealt with, and it will be a corner kick to Spurs on the right-hand side. And they scored the last time they had a corner from this same angle. It's going to be Pedro Porro once again with the outswinger. See if Wolves have marked Bentancur a bit better this time. It's a similar sort of ball. It's just a little bit over towards the other side, and it's headed just wide. Looks like it was Dragusin this time. Similar sort of corner. It was just a little bit further away. It was heading towards that far post, but still level with the edge of the 6-yard box. Dragusin with the header, and it goes just wide.
I think the marking was just a touch better there, wasn't it? It was contested. He had to fetch back for it, but again, he's not far off. It's a really good effort there, and you can see hands on heads there in the Spurs crowd, and with their manager too. It's a close run thing that Dragusin. Thrown in, really, the Romanian is another one. He's not had much game time in the Premier League, has he, really?
He's not, but he's certainly getting it now. Of course, he's probably Spurs' most established defender with all the other injuries that they've got. But we're over the halfway mark in this first half. Now, 24 minutes gone. It is Spurs 1, Wolves 1, and it will be John to take us through to half-time. Yeah,
thanks, Paul. So, Ange Postecoglou looks on. Whether he's under pressure or not, you wouldn't necessarily know. He seems a fairly quiet and contained man, I think. And he's got this great swashbuckling style about him. What he set up at Celtic, they're still reaping the dividends from. I think he's very clever and shrewd. What he's done in the market is Cunha picks the ball up now, the Brazilian, just looking for options, but nobody moving towards him close enough allows him to be closed down by Brennan Johnson. I don't know too much about Vitor Pereira, But maybe he's gone to Wolves at a lucky time. Whenever you look at the players they've got back, even having Dawson back in, you think, oh well, we've all seen Craig Dawson, but they had nobody. They had, the likes of Totti, Gomez, playing Semedo in the back, not his thing at all. Plays out of position. Dawson, a good ball, finds Cunha, and then all of a sudden it settles down. It shows that they're a good team. Andre starts playing well, the Brazilian, the holding midfielder. It's weird how it can all drop into place. And of course, Cunha's played well for the last 2 seasons. Anyway, Udogie under pressure now from Bellegarde. He holds him off, does well, and then plays the ball off him. Bellegarde does really well, wins it back now, and here come Wolves into the box. They go, and deflected the effort, goes out for a corner kick there. But Udogie did well until he didn't, and then Bellegarde won the ball off him.
Well, I'll tell you what, the linesman is stood literally over this, so he will know better than we will. But it looked to me as I thought the ball had gone out for a goal kick then, unless Bellegarde's just got his foot on it in time. Linesman sort of knelt down as if to say, I had a good view of that, and I know it wasn't a goal kick. So credit to Bellegarde, play to the whistle and everything, and Wolves now have their first corner of the game.
Yeah, they do. So in comes the ball from Ainori, in at the near post, headed away by the rear guard, and now Kulusevski. I felt he was being fouled there. The referee is going to show a yellow card then. And
Bellegarde is going to get the booking. I think it's one of those where it's accidentally on purpose from Bellegarde. He knows exactly what he's doing. It's just like one of those innocuous collisions, but it's actually very planned because he wants to start the counter-attack that Kulusevski could have started here for Spurs. And I don't know if he's been held or if he's fallen awkwardly on that right shoulder, I believe, and he's still in a little bit of pain there, the Swedish international.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe Bellegarde's a little bit unlucky there. He makes contact. He probably starts off the wrong side of him, and it's one of those where...
I think also in the current climate where referees are letting a lot of stuff go in terms of bookings, I think there's more than one ref who wouldn't have booked him for that as well.
I agree with that. But I sort of also understand it. It was fairly cynical, really, trying to make it look like, I've just made a bit of contact here. I wasn't trying to do that. But the net result was the same, wasn't it? He stopped a man in his tracks who was the wrong side of him. So, yeah, there we go. Anyway, it's half-time. Leicester 0, Man City won that early starting time. Southampton are winning. Forest are winning away. Lots of teams are winning away. But our game, we got 2 goals, and that's better than anybody else yet. And I don't think we've seen the end of the scoring. Wang Yi-Chan puts pressure on Bissouma. He goes back to Forster. He's not foolproof, is he, Fraser Forster? But it's a good ball out, actually. And then Brendan Johnson hurdles the first challenge, finds Kulusevski now. And good-looking ball was blocked away at the first man as Ainori tries to make ground. Should have done better than he did there, but then there's a poor touch. The ball goes straight out, and that will be a Wolves throw. Just want to see Kulusevski peel off in that sort of inside right roll. I was thinking, they're at it now. But he couldn't find a good ball, and then it all comes to nothing. We've hardly mentioned Solanke.
Well, we haven't, because I was just about to mention it myself. Yeah, I think both of us felt like he needed a mention because he's had hardly any service at all in this game so far. And, it was a great move for him to come from Bournemouth to Spurs, a great show of confidence as well, that a team like Spurs would look at him and say, this is someone who we want as our flagship striker. It took him a little while to get into it. I still think there will be more to come from him because he is a very good striker, and he's one of those that doesn't necessarily just have to be in the 6-yard box. He can drop a little bit deeper as well. Yeah,
they were looking for one of those guys where, they were a known entity. They'd scored goals. I did think for a while it might be Ivan Toney they were going to go for, but maybe the money convinced him a bit more, and maybe Spurs weren't necessarily interested in him.
I just thought Toney probably gave a few too many interviews last season when he was still a Brentford player under contract, talking about all the various clubs and managers he respected. I just wonder whether or not that gave a couple of potential suitors a little bit more to think about in terms of his attitude. But certainly from Solanke's point of view, great move for him. And of course, the fascinating thing is that his former club, Bournemouth, don't miss him at all, do they?
No, seemingly not. But anyway, Tottenham won, Wolves won. And if they want Solanke to be the man at Spurs, they need to play the ball to him. Here he is, on the ball now. Wriggles round a challenge or two. Into the box they go. Kulusevski, cutback, looks good. Chance. Oh, 2 players collide there. Solanke was one of them, and he got taken out by his own man. Oh, dearie me.
And then there's an offside in the midst. I do wonder if those two players colliding were actually in an offside position or just to make it even worse. But it's Solanke in the build-up there. It's actually Kulusevski who goes on the overlap, gets the pass from Brennan Johnson. And then, yeah, absolutely, it's two Spurs players getting in each other's way. The fact that the offside flag was already up won't spare them. This is going to make it into all kinds of blooper reels, etc. Because it is a humorous moment there between Bentancur and Solanke.
It was. Both trying to get on it. Bentancur should have done a better job getting out of the way. And there was a little pass in there that was really unnecessary, wasn't there? I think it wasn't Solanke who started the move because he did well. There was just a little touch then to Kulusevski when he probably didn't want it.
Any TV editors, I reckon that sort of fairground music, that circus music, I think that'll be the right thing for when they're colliding, if that does make it to the next round of bloopers. But in the meantime, Spurs on the attack again. Yeah,
they have it back, and now they're ranging forward on the left-hand side through Son. We haven't seen much of him. He's got the overlap with Udogie on the left-hand side. And in the end, he runs into a decent challenge from Doherty. Tottenham 1, Wolves 1. Goes for Son Heung-min. Possibly he's in his last season with Tottenham Hotspur. And if that's true, then he'd be going for a free at the end of the season. I don't think there'd be too many sort of repercussions with that. He's given his all to Tottenham, hasn't he? And scored a rake of goals. He's in the top 20 all-time Premier League list, isn't he, for goals?
He is. I mean, he's been here a while, and everyone's sort of worried about when Kane left, how are Spurs going to cope without him? But actually, in their first season without him, Son did step up.
Yeah, he did. And he tends to do that, doesn't he? He'd been dropped as well at times, and had fought back. I think he shows a lot of character in his football. Dawson now under pressure just stabs the ball out.
Yeah, just to say very quickly, Trevor Chalobah has equalised for Palace, so it's now 1-1 between Palace and Southampton at Selhurst Park.
Semedo does well to win ball that was given up on by one of the Spurs players. Again, Cunha takes it on his chest, perfect that, but Dawson then puts his keeper under pressure. Andre then under massive pressure, but they played out from the press really well. Bellegarde able to turn and into midfield. He's got an easy pass away to the left. Cunha now controls it at the halfway line. The Brazilian again, he's looking for this and that, but finds João Gomes. He's brought to Hwang Hee-chan, puts him at the byline in the box. Ball goes backwards then for Aïnouri. Thinking about the early ball in, finds Cunha trying to give him it back. He tried to thread the eye of a needle. He couldn't quite make that stick. He's fighting back with Dragusin, but he's got too many guns. But the clearance was poor. Finds Hwang Hee-chan. And so Wolves now try to get a bit of a feel. They've got to regroup a little bit. Dawson finds João Gomes, and then again Cunha, ball out to left. Aïnouri in space now. Chance to run it into the box perhaps. He just held up for the time being by Pedro Porro. Ball goes back to Dawson. Little laboured ball back from him, but Cunha fights to keep hold of it. Dawson back on the ball, and Wolves getting plenty of a feel for the ball right now. Spurs pressing hard, pressing out. Andre on the ball, an easy ball for him to Bellegarde. He's got Semedo on the overlap, and he finds him out the right-hand side. Semedo then, now Bellegarde looking for the overlap. Udogie gets a good foot in there and then puts Semedo under pressure. But Semedo comes away with the ball, the Portuguese. And now, again, out to the right, continues his run. The runner didn't go with him, Son, just as well he was being covered there. I thought there might be an overlap on that right-hand side. Wolves getting a good feel of the ball right now, and for Tottenham having to work hard without it, as the ball now goes left. Aïnouri, and Wolves here putting together an impressive spell of passing.
Yeah, it's a good spell of passing this from Wolves. It's probably about over 20 now without reply from Spurs. What I'd say though is that for all the build-up we said with these two teams that are better going forward, they've scored a goal early each, but actually there haven't been that many chances apart from the two goals.
No, they haven't. Anyway, half a chance now perhaps is Pedro Porro forced to head the ball back, but it wasn't a good header. Now there's the ball back in from Cunha, but Wolves have it back, and here they go again. Great touch from Cunha this time to João Gomes, the edge of the area. Aïnouri, ball back on his inside to Gomes, and then Dawson again. He has come deep for it, but he's a good passer of the ball. Goes to Doherty, and then to Bueno. All the way back to his keeper, but while they're keeping hold of it, they're working Tottenham, and then a long ball forward. And Semedo's got the better of Destiny Udogie. He slips the vital moment. He's dead unlucky there, and he might have hurt himself as well.
Hurt himself as well. He's not moving much, and Wolves desperate to win this back just so they can put it out. And Well, Cunha does have it back now, and I think Bellegarde looked up. He saw that his captain is actually back on his feet, so they don't have to put it out, and they have possession in this first half.
Yeah, Cunha able to turn just the edge of the box, tries to strike. Oh, wow! I mean, he just lets the ball roll sort of through him. He's taking the ball, and then he's turning and shooting. I mean, he's just good, and
he's a great. I mean, we'll see from the reverse angle just how close this is to goal. What I liked about this was that there was virtually no backlit. Oh, it's a really. I mean, he's a right footer shooting from the right hand side, so the angles are against him. It's just wide of the post as it curls away as Forster was diving. But that must be a Brazilian thing. That always remember that goal Ronaldinho scored for Barca away at Chelsea, where he hits it from outside the box with virtually no backlift, and Cunha did something similar there. But Wolves on the attack again. Yeah,
Cunha trying to find Hwang Hee-chan in the box, can't quite slide him in. The ball breaks back though for Wolves. I think because Cunha hits the ball that early though, keeper maybe not set. João Gomez now a ball to Ainuri into the box. His cutback is blocked away. Good defended by Dragusin. And then eventually Pedro Porro comes to put the fire out, but they just chopped the ball out. They're under massive pressure at this moment in time. Wolves look the better of the two teams. They're dominating play now, creating bits and pieces out near the edge of the area. Postecoglou looks on. Pennyfree thought he was just shaking his head. His body language is terrible.
He's not happy at all, no. As I say, I don't think that football managers would ever agree to what cricketers agreed to of having being mic'd up during a 2020 game so we can hear what they're thinking. I don't think we're ever going to get to that stage, but it would be nice to know exactly what Postecoglou was thinking there, because his side are being overrun. In the last one, and it's proven by but the stat we've just seen there, John, from what you've just mentioned, 75% for Wolves to 25% for Spurs in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, that tells its own story. It'd be great. It'd be great to have him mic'd up. I think you'd not get a peep out of him, would you?
It'd have to be after midnight to broadcast it as
well. Porro, long ball down the line. He's giving it away. What's the point of that? He boots the ball away. Dawson does well with it. Then Sarr was tangled by Solanke. Probably a foul that. And then too big of a risk from Doherty. Had his pocket picked by Young-Min Son, and Spurs have at the edge of the box trying to wriggle away through. Well, I thought there was a foul in that, but again it was a bit lackadaisical from Wolves, and it's given Spurs half chance.
Well, this is a long ball play to the edge of the Wolves penalty area. Dawson goes back to Sarr. Sarr has got some pressure there from Solanke, but the pass out towards Doherty already wasn't particularly good. I thought there were other options than they're trying to play that short ball. But once he does that, as you say, there was an argument that maybe Doherty was being held onto. Seconds later, then there's a foul going the other way, and the referee basically allows that play to go on before it goes out for a corner kick. And now, chance for Spurs with this in-swinger.
Yeah, we've already seen how good Benton Kerr is in the air. Anyway, this one near post, and it's beaten away by Hwang Hee-chan. Ball breaks to Bissouma, chance to put percentage ball back in, but now Benton Kerr is going to put the ball in way too deep. Past and beyond everybody, that will be a goal kick. So, again, don't want to look at Postecoglou's face right now, but I was almost guaranteed they were going to show us his disappointment there. Not a good ball, not what he wants. And again, they made a sloppy start. Stupid set piece they didn't defend. They immediately got back in, but it's Wolves who've been the better team the first half. Creating bits and pieces. It's not as if Fraser Forster's had that much to do. It's just that Wolves have dominated territory and possession. Forster with a clearance there, a daisy cutter down the middle. But Kulusevski makes a bad ball good, and he finds Brendan Johnson. Chance for the Welsh international now to run into the box. He goes. Can he get to the byline? No, he can't. I thought the defending was good there from Dawson. It was touch and go who that ball came off, but it's another corner.
Yeah, now all of a sudden after that spell of pressure from Wolves, now Spurs are seeing a lot more of the ball. They've taken the corner kick short this time. Yeah,
Porro now, great ball to the far post. The heads come in, keeper comes out, half comes, doesn't get it. Ball breaks back in a shot then from Bissouma. I think it was at the edge of the box, and on the half volley, always difficult to get that technique right.
It's not good from Bissouma, but it's also not good from Sarr. He commits that cardinal sin of coming out halfway, then changing his mind, which is something that goalie coaches are always discouraging their goalkeepers to do. But in the end, he gets away with it. It may well be that ball was just angling away from the 6-yard box, but I thought there was a second there where he was probably close enough to try and grab it.
Well, I thought how open this game was that we'd see more than 2 goals in this first half. Maybe we were getting greedy because we got early goals, but I'm quite surprised at that. Andre, good ball forward now. Bellegarde, a little in and out. then it's a great ball to Nuri over the halfway line now. They've got bodies up here at Wolves, if only can find them. Rolls the ball to Hwang Hee-chan and made a good run into the box. Cuts the ball back immediately. It's got to be dealt with, and it is by Archie Gray. Thumps the ball out. Good solid defending from Gray.
Yeah, well, Spurs and Wolves mirroring each other here at the start of this game in terms of attacking stats. Both have had 4 efforts on goal, 1 each on target, 2 off target, 1 each block. So it's been very, very even in terms of the chances, and there's not been that many of them.
No, it's right. Weird game really, but we probably expect it to be perhaps a little bit more open than it is. But maybe that's because both teams realise that they are too open. Perhaps that they've somehow shut a few doors. Anyway, Andre finds Semedo and Bellegarde, and Wolves seem to have. That ability to attack from anywhere. They're decent through the middle. Cunha steps inside. Sometimes he's out the flank, out the left, where Ainori is. He can get forward. We know Semedo can, with Bellegarde, who's playing all right. So another long ball. Semedo just about brings it in. Finds Cunha again. Little step. Finds Ainori. He was looking to thread the ball back to the Brazilian there. Couldn't find him. Now the counter-attack is on. Great first touch by Kulusevski. He's Spurs' best player today. He's running with the ball again in that inside right position. Decent looking ball into the box. The claims of a penalty, I don't think that's going to stand.
He's given it.
Has he? Wow, Brendan Johnson running a great ball from Kulusevski, but I just thought, well, the defender's just able to block that off. Next thing, it's a penalty.
Yeah, it's Andre who's given the penalty away. Wolves players are surrounding Chris Kavanagh, our referee. We'll have a look from this angle. Andre comes across. Well, he gets the man and not the ball there. I mean, it's whether or not Johnson's cutting across his path, but Johnson is closer to the ball. That pass from Kulusevski was meant for Brennan Johnson. And, well, the point is that there's not much of a foul in there, but there's enough to say that he trips him. And once the referee's given it, VAR are not going to say he's made a clear and obvious error.
Yeah, it's a really poor challenge that from Andre. We've been bigging him up a bit, haven't we? But I can't really make a case for him there.
It's a difficult one. It's harsh on Wolves based on how this first half has gone, but in terms of what's happened in the box there, that is a penalty, really, isn't it?
And it's such a difficult opportunity for Brendan Johnson. It's been defended. There's a man beyond him. Andre doesn't have to do that. He clearly catches him on the heel. Also, it seems to me that Bueno's there to block it off, and he got keeper to beat, and it's a terrible angle. All reasons why Andre from the wrong side shouldn't have been making an intervention there.
No, and so, it's a slightly more frustrated look now on the face of Vitor Pereira, but this is a big moment here for Spurs captain Son to put his side in front just before half-time, and a big moment here for Jose Sarr to try and save the penalty. Yeah,
Son looks down, just focuses on the ball in front of him, takes a look back, then takes a look at the goal. He's right-footed. He scores with both, but he tends to score his penalties, and 5 this season, I think. Anyway, he will step up now. Real intense focus from the Korean. Tottenham 1, Wolves 1 right now. But up he steps, little stutter step, and it's saved by the keeper. Sarr had that. Not enough stutter. If he was waiting for the keeper to go, it wasn't obvious because he shot the way that the keeper was going. So, the little stutter didn't work. And for Andre, his mistake gets bailed out by good goalkeeping. Yes,
bailed out by good goalkeeping. Jose Sarr dancing on his line. Within the rules, of course, as the Son steps up. I mean, it's not the worst penalty. I mean, I actually thought initially when that penalty was saved that maybe Son was guilty of putting it a little bit too much down the middle, but it's actually well into the corner. The problem is that because of that stutter, he's not really put his foot through it enough, and it's allowed Sarr to make the save once he's guessed the right way. Yeah,
it's like a little stutter step that he, like an affectation rather than a ploy. When you're doing the stutter step, it's like, which way is he going? But he didn't give himself time. No, he wasn't even really looking at where the keeper was. Keeper made a good dive, made a good save to a decent penalty kick. So that's a penalty save. That's not a penalty miss. Anyway, they've been bailed out, Wolves. We might have had a third goal, but these things happen.
That's right. We have had a first goal, by the way, just very quickly, at Craven Cottage, where Raul Jimenez has put Fulham up against Bournemouth.
Anyway, ball chipped into the box here. Maybe a chance for Wolves. Little backward header there. Didn't quite drop to João Gomez, but Ainori back on the ball. And again, Wolves are dominating. Cunha little touch back. Then Dawson picks the ball up. Again, they've seen plenty of the ball. It's that little mistake from Andre with the challenge that he didn't need to make, and then the ball's one high up the field here. Son Heung-min, he's driving forward. He's got Solanke, got Udogie, got Brendan Johnson as well. He goes himself. That's a bit greedy because eventually he's closed down and the ball will be cleared away. Maybe the other players are working as decoys there, but I felt you either take your shot or you find somebody, and he didn't do that.
He didn't. He's just, maybe he should have got a shout. It's great work from Doherty because he was actually beaten by Son initially as he was going towards the box. But Wolves' defender there does very well to recover. And Spurs looking to try and recycle the ball, but Wolves now come away with it. They're going to have 3 minutes of injury time. Yeah, long ball now for Wolves, but too long. Maybe Doherty remembered Son from training. Well, he'd keep hold of it, that fella. I've seen that before. Well, it's not just Son. I think there's it's obviously we know the football is a team game, but sometimes when you've got a player who's done all the hard work and he gets that ball into the box, he wants to sort of finish the move off himself. And as you say, Son would have been odds on to try and to do that himself anyway there, I think.
Particularly, yeah. Just seen a penalty saved, so he'd be thinking, right, here's my chance right now. Players had worked hard to take him away, and then Doherty comes out of the corner of his eye, out of the backfield, and just does enough to put him off and block his effort. But anyway, fine margins and all that. Udogie on the ball now into the middle, little half turn then. It's good work from Solanke. Then he straightens up, but he's tagged. And Semedo might go in the book here.
Yeah, I think he will. The Wolves captain, certainly Chris Kavanagh, looked like he was going to his pocket, and that is going to be a booking. It's not necessarily for stopping a counter-attack, but it's just a bit cynical, really. Solanke's getting away, and it's clumsy that from Semedo. He's tripping his opponent on the halfway line. There's still so many players that Solanke has to navigate past. So it's a silly booking that from the captain.
Yeah, and here come Tottenham then. Udogie, Tucson at the byline, a little cutback. Is deflected, so is Udogie's effort, but it's all picked up by Spurs, who now have got a chance with Kulusevski, a little spin and turn into the box. He goes in and out. Eventually the ball is thumped away by Nelson Semedo, and it remains Tottenham 1, Wolves 1. It's been an alright first half, fairly entertaining game. We thought we might see more goal-mouth action really, but I think one apiece said a reasonable reflection on what we've seen, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the point I think we both made is that we were probably expecting a few more chances in front of goal just for the way these two teams are set up in terms of their attack. But Spurs are on the attack now with the ball. Break into Kulusevski, into the box. He gets back onto his left foot, tees it up, and it must be too wide. It's finished by Brennan Johnson from close range, and Wolves will be frustrated that they've just allowed Spurs a bit too much freedom there in front of their own box.
Yeah, like I said, 2-1 reflects the game that we've seen. No, that was a lightning quick move, lovely cutback. Brendan Johnson, sort of that inside creeping roll. It's a brilliant goal, that lovely football. So typical of Spurs. When they play well, they purr, don't they? We'll take another look as just lovely interchange there. I think that Kulusevski has just been absolutely awesome, and when he lays that ball back there, it's not exactly on a plate. He's got to thread the ivory needle a little bit, but for me, Kulusevski's been the best player this first half. He's just an incredible player. I think the Swede, and he's such a big part of what's good about Tottenham at the minute.
Well, he is. He's also got that. He's got enough quality to be in that central midfield three, and he's certainly good enough that he prefers to probably be on that right wing as well, cutting in onto his left foot. So he's got all the qualities. And Spurs, it's fired past Jose Sa before he even gets a chance to react. Credit to Brendan Johnson as well, because he started that move on the right, and then he got himself into the right position to have the shot as well. I've
got to say, Kulusevski's little cut back there, it's like on the plate. You want the ball rolled to just the right pace on it. And also at a time when Sar's moving the other way, it's like, it's a super assist. Anyway, I think we've probably seen enough. The referee's called it, so half-time, Tottenham 2, Wolves 1.